Welcome to Hack Shack Studios. RT Bear here. How have you guys been? Yeah, I'm hoping this thing goes. Oh, shoot, I just already bumped it. I'm setting up for a live draw stream, and I tried to do things a little different than yesterday. You guys really responded well to yesterday's live draw stream, so I'm going to do it again today. See if we can finish up this Kit Carson. No, why do I say Carson? Carter. Kit Carter commission that I started. And yeah, let me show you what I got. This is so this is the setup. I have to kind of, you know what, I'm going to move. I got my microphone right here close, but I'm going to move it a little bit over and then let you guys see what I got going on here. So I did work a little bit on this last night after the show. So it's coming along. I think I captured the retro feel. I was kind of looking at a lot of 1950s, 60s stuff. Mobius. So yeah, hopefully this will all work. So as always, you guys, give me a sign of life in the chat, so I know this is working. So yeah, there's just a couple little details, things to distill ink on this thing. Get my pins out. Got to turn the board like this to make it look straight. But yeah, you guys, we got what did I say? Tusharo, excuse me. Hell, what's up? Yeah, you guys, give me a sign of life in the chat. I'm going to be crossing over my water in front of the camera. Yeah, so let me see. I gotta, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you the pencils, and then we can go from there. So yeah, there's the pencils. So that's how it started. So let me go in here and make it a little bigger. Yeah, I'll get the kinks out of this process at some point, you guys. Just bear with me. So yeah, this is how it started. So just want to kind of give you guys a point of reference. And then, yeah, here we are here. And it's reversed. For some reason, the camera likes to reverse things. So that's what is happening here. Oh, we got Leg Kick. How are you, Leg Kick? Hail, RT Bear. A little inking edumacation. Yeah. Educate the masses. Yeah, so, oh, you know what? I'm going to do this. Let's do something a little different here as well. I'm going to show you the reason for the season share. Yeah, you guys, this is black and white. This is Sins of the Father, Volume 3. And let me play the video here. Boom. Up, 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 up. Ooh. There you go, guys. Black and White. 30 years ago, we dreamt up this bad boy, put it out through Image Comics, and it has been one of my single obsessions in life for the last 30 years. Yeah, I've dreamt about how to bring these guys back for decades after the miniseries. So the industry kind of collapsed and we couldn't put out the book any longer. And so Black and White went on hiatus, but I kept the dream alive. I kept working on stories and concepts and ideas. And so then when a new viable indie market opened up, which is CG, Comicsgate, I took full advantage of that and brought these guys back. So, yeah, the first, what was it? Man vs. Machine was based on the original 3 issues of the 94 story. And so Sins of the Father is really, really loosely based on the ongoing, the Black and White code name. So this was a storyline Pamela and I were working on in 95 or so. Yeah, it was probably 95. And we put out 1 issue. It did really well, but by standards back then, it wasn't good enough to keep the money coming in and to make it viable to pay all of our bills. So I had to go back to Marvel Comics, and I started working on the X books again with Pacheco and Kubert. And I think it did a decade or so there. Then went over to DC, did probably another decade or so. It's funny, man. Time moves so quickly. And so, yeah, then now, present day, we're bringing the books back. This is completely uncharted territory. Like I said, it's loosely based on the 95, code name. But that's about it. So Juju made her debut in issue 1, but we really didn't get to explore too much about her character. So in this one, we're definitely getting more into it. And so also we have High Octane 2, which is the second installment in the High Octane line of books, which we're so lucky to have Pedro Eng working with us on this. And so I just gotta, maybe I'll show those in a bit. Some pages from him, and they're so good, so amazing. And here's 3 of them, just as a little preview. And then, of course, the 4 covers for this campaign. We got the A, B. The A is me, the B is me, and then the C is Carlo and me, and then the D is all John Malin in all his glory. So here's a better look at the Lord Faken Juju cover with Black and White fighting against a bunch of zombie warriors. And then we got the Carlo Barberi cover. And then, of course, the John Malin. So also, you guys, we got a couple. Oh, there's the jam with the 11x17 Juju print. We got some stretch goals open. So we got the 20K stretch goal, which is the trading card. We got the 25, which is the sticker. And we hit that 30 as well. So you will get the upgraded paper and interior paper stock. So, yeah, 30 years, you guys. If you haven't backed this book, what are you waiting for? Get in here. Back it today. If there's any mods in the house, please put some links in. I would appreciate that. The backers are still coming in, you guys, so we're still moving up. Let me see what the total is. I didn't check it this morning. Yeah, 212. So we are 800, under 800 away from 32K. So that is awesome. Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate all the support, all the backing. You guys are the best. So thank you. And, oh, man, we got some people in the house. There's the link right there. Boom. All right, let me see. We got Robert Dorn. What's up, my friend? Leg Kick says, funny how the so-called collapse was better than than now. Yeah, and I was scared then. I'm not as scared. Tonight on Pontificators, we're going to talk about Diamond filing Chapter 11 and what that possibly could mean to the industry. So we're going to get a little bit into that on Pontificators tonight. It's 8 Eastern Central or 8 Eastern time. And oh, Crazy Cat, thank you. Yeah, we got some oodles links there as well. Brian Scanlon, you were missed on the professionals yesterday. Fregus showed a Matsuda Supreme cover you inked with Spawn on it. Looked amazing. Oh, sweet. Crazy Cat is doing great work. They are on it. Hell yeah. Robert Dorn says, you always pronounce my name wrong. It's Donut. You cut off the ut. Don? Don? Is it Don? Robert Don? I don't know. Just say it. Just say it. Why are you playing these games with me? Take out the ut. Don. Don. So it's just, is it Don? Okay. So Don, my mom's name was Don, but didn't spell it like the guy. Spelled it like with the W. All right. Let me get these pins out. So if you guys don't know, I found these Fiber Castles. And I got my 3 sizes that I picked out for this. I probably won't be using the extra thick tip because I already got all my my blocking out done, which is my outline. So I'll be using, this is kind of a medium tip. Most of it is inked with this. And then I have my small tip here. And this is for the fine line details. So let me take off my glasses and see what we got here. I got to warm up a little bit. And I got to keep the art in this area, which is so weird. It's so odd. Like that camera is so close to my my face. I don't know if this is actually going to work. Because the camera is right by my head. So like this is actually right in front of me. This is over. So I might have to readjust this because I'm not sure this is going to work. Let's keep going. Yeah, everything on my right side would probably be okay, but the left side is a little tough. So there's one of my little blobs. Just outline that guy. Some gun detail. Got the little trigger finger in here. So let's get this gun all taken care of. We might have actually yesterday had a better because I think, you know what, let me try this. Maybe if I pull the camera out a little bit. Let's see what that does. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe you can see more of it. Let's see. It's too much, probably. Let's go a little bit more in. Yeah, a little more. This thing doesn't really give you like nuanced movements. So let's see here. I got to flip this around, you guys, because I got to get my hand in the right position. Some guys don't need to do this, but I do. So getting the gun in there. She's got her laser blaster. Yeah, I got to keep looking up to make sure what I'm what I'm inking is in the camera lens. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I have this little tripod here, which probably is very limited. Get some hatching in there. Okay. This one's going to be tough. Let's ink this. While I'm here, ink that. Yeah, speaking of Jeff Matsuda, he was I really liked Jeff. Jeff and I kind of left Extreme Studios at the same time, and we just liked hanging together. So we got a studio set up that he and Chap and Sam Liu was there sometimes, could hang out. They had an assistant. His name was Hawk June, and he did a lot of their backgrounds and miscellaneous. And so we got a studio, and we had Chris Leitner. They were the Liquid Boys, Chris and Aaron. And so they came over with us as well. So at first we had a studio over by John Wayne Airport, and it was a little tough. You know what? This pin is a little too thick for some of these smaller details. Let's get this thinner one in here, and so we were there for a while. Commute was too much. We all kind of lived in the more like Yorba Linda, Anaheim Hills, Corona area. So we decided it would probably be better to, I don't know, have the studio closer to where we lived. And so Jeff and I started looking for a place, and we went all over. There were some pretty scuzzy places, and we finally found this one, and it was right off of La Palma, I think, if I'm remembering right. And so we set up shop there. The rent was decent, and everybody agreed on the location. It was so weird. Like Jeff and I were going, it was kind of like a couple, like trying to find an apartment, you know? And so it was like, no, I like this part. No, I don't like that part. I like this part. And so it was pretty fun. It was pretty interesting. You know, where you have to, like I said, like a couple, and you got to figure out sometimes how to compromise. And yeah, so we found a pretty decent place. It was 3 rooms, so it had like, it was good size. We had 3 rooms and like a kitchenette and a bathroom. And so Jeff, Chap, and Sam had the one room. It was kind of in front, so they had a window. So the whole front of the place had windows, and so they had that. And then Chris and Aaron, and then they had an assistant later. They had that front part, and I really kind of felt bad for them because it was also the traffic. So everybody had to kind of go through their office to get to wherever they were going. And so we tried to be as respectful as possible. And also those guys like to play basketball. So there was a big basketball, like fold up that they would drag in, and that would also set in Chris's Liquid's studio part. I didn't really play, so but those guys did. And later Jaime Mendoza left Extreme, and so then he came over and started working. And so at that point, it was kind of an official Hack Shack Studios. Before, I didn't really have a name or anything. I wasn't calling it Hack Shack Studios. I had a studio set up years before that. And then once Image started, they didn't steal my talent, but the talent got offers, and I didn't want to stand in their way. So Trevor Scott went with Wildstorm, and then Danny Mickey went with Extreme. And so I was just kind of like solo. And also about that time, I was penciling and inking cable. So I was kind of in a different headspace, less ink studio, more just kind of storytelling, penciling, that type of thing. Well, almost got the gun done. That rhymes. All right, so let's get this little shadow taken care of here. And so those guys, we stayed at that spot for a couple of years. There was no Liquid color, and so that kind of came out of that studio set. Oh, I had the back. There was a big room. It was actually twice the size of the other guy's studio space. And so I was at that point starting to think about an ink studio again, possibly, Hack Shack 2. And so Jaime Mendoza and I were, we talked about it, and he was like, sure, let's do it. So I had somebody else, partner. And so then Larry Stucker was there as well. So Larry was there for a while. And we just started getting like Marvel work and miscellaneous work. And like I said, Liquid wasn't Liquid then. And so Jeff and I were just kind of like I was trying to get back into the mainstream, and Jeff was just trying to break into the mainstream. So it made it a lot easier since I was already like a name in the mainstream. So we started doing work for Malibu, different places like that. And so then I got a job to work on the How to Draw the Marvel Way. They put out like a second book, and so they asked if I wanted to draw the cover for it, and I was like, yeah, sure. And so I didn't have anybody in mind for coloring, but Jeff and I were trying to get, Chris and Aaron, trying to get them connected with the mainstream. So I suggested this liquid company, and so they got in contact with Chris, and so then I do believe that was their first Marvel published work, was that How to Draw the Marvel Way cover. So there you go with that. Yeah, doing a little seam on Kit Carter. Little glove seam. So yeah, just little details, just bringing it together, finishing it up. Yeah. You see what you guys are saying? Let's catch up, get my glasses on. 100 confirmed. No, I'm not selling this. So, yeah, you guys, thanks, Brian, for bringing that up. Yeah, memory lane. So, yeah, I started working on the X-Men book with was it Adam Kubert, and then I went into working with Carlos Pacheco on that same title. And then I got Jaime Heroes for Hire with Pasquale Ferry, and I forget what other book he was working on. And then I had 2 books. I was working on X Factor, I think, and that was Jeff's book, Masuda's. I don't know what LCS buddy is partying about Diamond. I don't know why we'd be partying about Diamond. No, not for sale. Let's see. AV8R Surge. Hey, Art, hell chat. We got Joe Bernardo in the house. Aloha, Art, my brother. Yeah. All right. Everybody loves Joe Bernardo. Art, you inspired me to ink yesterday, and I finished the latest page of my new graphic novel. Is that the stuff you posted? I saw that. Looked pretty killer, man. Pedro, are you up for the pontificators tonight? Hey, everyone. Hail, Art. Hey, Pedro. I think I'm going to show off. I'm going to show off some of your work here. What page should I do? I should do this page because I dig this page. All right. All right, you guys. If you were on the fence about backing Black and White, what are you waiting for? And this piece of artwork should make you want. Look at that. This is the great Pedro Ang's work right here. Absolutely fantastic. The colors, the character designs on these guys are just so much fun. Pedro, you're killing it, man. You're just killing it on this. I'm really happy with the way this is coming out, and I think people are really going to respond to this. So this is an interior page from High Octane 2. This is Pedro Ang's artwork, his pencils, inks, and colors. and his writing as well. So the great Pedro Eng, here we go. Pick up a book today. Sorry. Pedro says Pontificators is on. It's on like Donkey Kong, as the kids say. Who hates Diamond Distributors more, indie publishers or retail comic shops? I don't really know how people feel about Diamond really these days. So I don't know if they look at Diamond as a bad thing. I really don't. So I think I had kind of a love-hate with them in the day. I don't really have any feelings one way or another right now because I don't really use them. I know some of the comic skaters have been talking about, doing more independent, like get stuff in the Diamond catalog and basically sell through Diamond. But well, my pin is all. But I didn't see any reason for it, to be honest. I think this industry has been mismanaged for a long, long time. And I think there's a lot of short-sightedness in this industry. And I think Diamond kind of, I can't really comment on, what their end game was, if they were just kind of getting in and getting as much as they could while they getting was good. Because some people say like Diamond's like business model was kind of predatorial and stuff like that. I do know that there was a company called Capital, and they were a distribution company, like Diamond, and they were Diamond's direct competition, I believe. They were like the second largest, but I always liked them better. I liked dealing with them, and they were just kind of more open to approach. They were less kind of gougy. I think they understood that the comics industry was like a small company, like a small group, and that we all kind of were like helping each other along, because there just wasn't really. I need my eraser. Where is my eraser? There it is. And so they were kind of more user friendly, I guess. They were more open and to the creator, and they actually in their catalog had more indie stuff, I think, than Diamond did at the time. And then I do remember shortly after Capital went away, sadly, that Diamond kind of made this statement that if these books don't sell a certain amount, they're not going to carry them in their catalogs anymore. And so a lot of more independent-minded people were thinking like, well, there were books like, the Ninja Turtles, and there were like deep indie stuff that really wasn't selling well, but was building a following. So if you instantly were to nix, some of these more like indie things that aren't selling that well, you could possibly be nixing, I don't know, the next Ninja Turtles or something like that. So the thing is, the industry just isn't really like that. It's not like any other business. And I think it's more it's more of like, I'll help you, you help me, we're in this together kind of thing. And I'm not saying that Diamond, because I don't really know those guys, if they're that cutthroat or whatever, but they did put a minimum on those independent titles. And so if you didn't hit that, then you couldn't get in the catalog. And I understand it's a business, it's not a charity. I understand all those things, but I gotta try to figure out where I'm going next. But at the same time, it is what it is. Like, the industry isn't huge like that. So it seems like it would be tougher to have these kind of mandates. And the thing about when the industry started, like in the 90s, and it started getting really big and there were bigger numbers, still nobody was really thinking about any long term. They were just kind of like getting what they could at the moment, and nobody was preparing they weren't building anything. They were just kind of exploiting what they had. I don't know quite how to explain it other than the way I just did. Like, everybody was kind of like just getting the money, spending the money, they were paying bills and stuff, but nobody was really growing the business. No one was thinking like, like, what if we, started advertising more? What if we try to break into the mainstream more? There was some crossover stuff, but nothing was really that successful. There were some people. I think Malibu put out some commercials for their books, but I also have said this on Pontificators and on this channel many times, that it can't just be one and dones. Like the comics industry go, okay, well, we're going to put out ads for the comic books, and then you go, okay, how many ads? Like TV ads? We'll just do it until the money runs out. Like, I don't know. They didn't really have any big long-term plans. Like, they would make these commercials, and then I guess money would run out, and then they would stop. But I think it's like, Coca-Cola just doesn't go, oh, well, we got one commercial out, that's good enough, let's call it a day. Like, they keep putting stuff out. They keep advertising. They keep the product in front of people. And comics just doesn't, like I said, they've done some stuff in the past, but it's never long term. Like, they never really build, like, well, we got a few commercials, that's good enough. Well, not really, because where's the industry now? Like, my thing is, if you can't do something right, and maybe this is not a great philosophy, then don't do it at all. But that's really how I feel. Like, if you're gonna invest, let's say $100,000 into commercials, and you can only get, like, I don't know, 100 commercials out of it on, like, local television, then I think you have to ask yourself, is this a good enough investment? Is this something that is actually beneficial, or is it just kind of pissing away, money? And because too, like, when people do these things, they go, Oh yeah, we ran commercials and we didn't see any benefit of it. Okay, you ran 100 commercials. How many people actually saw those commercials? Branding is constant over and over again, kind of hitting the base, hitting people, consumers, and then kind of hoping that it builds your business. And then once it does, whatever those profits, you keep putting into your advertising, and you keep going. But the comics industry hasn't done that. And I say this, and I don't really get a lot of support with this, which is kind of surprising, maybe because it's not that interesting to talk about. But the thing is, it's all about selling the product. Nobody sells comic books. Nobody. The comic book companies, they don't sell comic books. They have a catalog and then people order from the catalog, but they're not really selling it to the consumer. They're selling it to a retailer. And also, they don't have any other outlets. They just have the comic shops as outlets to sell. So that's a very specialized market. So they're really kind of selling to a very limited audience. And they have sales divisions there. They have, they have marketing. They have all those things. And I'm always like, why? Why does DC and Marvel have these divisions? They don't really seem to do much. And those guys get paid pretty well, to sell the comic books. But they're just selling it to the comic shops. They're not selling it to like the average mom and pop kind of that go into like a Target or Walmart or something like that. I mean, we really do need to get to that point. Here's little legs there. We got to get to that point where people, just mainstream people, just normies, can have access to these books. They don't. You have to go into a specialized store to pick up these books. Well, how many people are going into these comic shops? So the whole future of this industry is in the hands of these comic shops. And nothing against the comic shop or the comic shop owners, but I've met maybe a handful of comic shop owners that were actually what I would consider businessmen or business people. The rest were kind of hobbyists that it almost seemed like they wanted to legitimize their hobby, their collecting hobby. I know that's kind of harsh, but that's just my take on it. I'm just trying to be honest. And so I'm thinking that's the people that have your future. Those are the people that are, supposedly making it happen for you. And a lot of these comic shops too, and I know I'm making a generalizations. Woo! I'm just being general with this, but the thing is, a lot of these comic shops, they don't even really advertise. Like, they're not part of the community. Like I think these comic shops need to be like community, because they're small and they're niche, and they need to attract people. And so if you don't have a big budget for advertising, then you need to start like doing like community things, like hey, if you go to a certain church, it's like, well, after church, whatever, on Sundays, we're having, Pokemon Day, or We're having, buy 2 comics, get the 3rd free, or, some kind of thing that would bring people in. Like, I obviously don't have the answers, but also that's why I'm not in that business. But I do think a lot of people in this business expect the product to sell itself, and so, because I've noticed, in this industry, a lot of people will blame the creators. It's like, oh, well, that book, the reason it didn't sell is because this guy stinks, or it was a bad story, or whatever. I think that's part of it, but I've worked on some books that were really good, and Marvel or DC or whoever it was didn't really get behind it. And so it just kind of died. It didn't sell. And so I kind of thought, it got me thinking, like, okay, well, it's a good book. Why did it not sell? And then you start thinking, well, it's not just because, oh, well, it's a bad book. It's not a bad book. It's a good book. Why isn't it selling? Because the company didn't sell it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just make a product and then just expect it to sell. You make a product, and then you have to market it, and you have to sell it. And that's the part of this industry that has been lacking, and it's been lacking for a long, long time. The books just, I don't know, somehow people just think, well, the books should sell themselves. Like, it's self-evident. Like, look at this thing. Why wouldn't somebody want to buy it? Well, that's like part of it. But, if, like, I would argue that kids today don't even know what a comic book is. Like, how many kids have even seen a comic book? Like, if you're going to be realistic about it, how many kids even know what a comic book is? Like, in my day, it was kind of, every kid had a comic book. And when I say every kid, I'm not kidding. Like, every kid that I would go to their house, they at least had a small stack of comic books. They were pretty much everywhere. And so there's this little hatch details. Oh, and one key, you guys, make your name really, really big. It helps. Brand yourself. Yeah, so it's just not the case now. I mean, kids don't really read. There's not a lot of printed stuff anymore like there was when I was a kid. So that part of the equation is kind of dwindling. So you have that as a potential, but then you also have, they don't know that these things exist. These kids don't know that comics are out there. They don't know that the product is even there. How do you sell something that doesn't have any advertising? There's no one that knows how or where to get these things. It's crazy. But the industry does. That's what they do. They just expect these things to sell themselves somehow. They're just going to, let me give you a little scan. So I got this over here left to do. I got some leg details. most of the ground is taken care of. So yeah, it's coming along, guys. It's coming along. I'll have it done lickety split. If I could just shut my mouth. Stop talking so much. Just focus on work. Yeah, once again, you guys, I hope this is entertaining. Sometimes I do have to remind myself to talk. But yeah, you guys, if you like this sort of thing, give it a thumbs up. Tweet it out to your buddies. Let them know that that I'm doing some draw streams. And if I can keep the numbers up, I'll continue to do this. I like doing it. But it is what it is. So after I get this done, I'll check with the chat, see what you guys are talking about. But yeah, I mean, we're going to get into all that and probably then some on the pontificators tonight. Pontificators be pontificating. Well, guess what, you guys? This whole area right here, done, baby. It's done. I should probably clean it up a little bit so I don't. Yesterday I was talking about, like, you get, look at that, I already got, like, it's like my hand's bruised. I got the pencil palm. I got the pencil palm, Mom. So let's get rid of some of these pencil badness, and then I'll see what you guys are talking about. And you guys always just feel free to ask me anything. These things are fun when we go off on all the different tangents and stuff, so I appreciate it. Let's clean this up. Also, it should look prettier for you guys. Look at those pretty inks. Kids love it. The kids love the inks. I used to use one of those big, what were they called? Those white erasers to ink or to clean up. But these actually, the little kneaded ones, they pick up the pencil better, and they don't really disturb the ink. So I like it. Let's get that all cleaned up. And then I'll scan this after I'm done, you guys. I'll post it. You guys can see the finished product. Hopefully you'll dig it. Kids dig the inks. Okay. I think that's good for now. All right. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Let's see here. Boom. We got Spambot in the house. Art, yes, Art. It is stuff I post on Facebook. Yeah, so I saw that. It's good stuff, man. Diamond is terrible, Art. like I said, I got kind of a love-hate. So I think there's some things that they did good and there's some things that they did bad. I just don't think they played very well with indie creators. And it was always expensive to take an ad out in Diamond. And I thought they should have cut industry people a little bit more slack as far as their catalog was concerned. It was expensive to run an ad, and I always thought like Diamond, Diamond charged. Oop, I bumped the. Sorry about that. I bumped the camera. Diamond charged not only for ads, but they also charged consumers. Like they sold the book. Like there's so much stuff that they kind of did that was uncool, where people, they encourage like consumers to take orders. Like you would give them your weekly order to the comic shop and all this stuff, and then but then by doing that, they were selling the catalog to people. So then people would buy the catalog, and then they would go through the catalog, and then they would give that order to the retailer. That's really weird. That's really bizarre. I never quite understood that. So why do you need a retailer? They're just kind of a middleman to a middleman. So there's just an extra middleman there. Why couldn't you order straight through Diamond? I thought that was really bizarre. But anyway, they were selling the magazine. So there was all these ways that they could double and triple dip on making money off of the same thing. And like I said, I think it kind of borderlines predatorial practices. And I always thought like, well, if you're going to sell the catalog, then why do you charge so much to take an ad in the catalog? And I don't know if they even sell the catalogs to the retailer. They probably do, knowing them. So I don't know. We're going to get into it more tonight, but there are some stuff and things that they've done that I didn't think were that cool. Capital was way more open to indie creators. Hey, Reynolds. Hello, Art. Hell CG. Hell Chat. Hell CG. What's up? Sheldon Martin, my main man. Hey, Art, do you dabble with Copic markers or any markers? When I do gray tone stuff, I use ink wash. I like it better. It's more organic. I think sometimes the marker stuff can look a little technical. I like things to look a little more organic. So, and also those markers are expensive. So I can get a bottle of ink and some water, and it doesn't cost me anything. And I like it. It's a lot more fun for me. Spambot, there's more drawing streams now. It's great. Art, ear hair, waving about the camera. What? I think that's just my hair here. So when I lean in, oh, there you go. Yeah, I think what I need is because the mic or the camera is right directly here. And so I think I need something that would go over, but even if it went over, it would be kind of in my face. So, and I don't work flat like this. So if I work more flat, you could get something that would go straight across. So I don't know. It's kind of a new venture, so I'm still playing with it. So I'm glad you guys are on board, helping me work through all the kinks. Sheldon says comics are still crushing with the younger generation in terms of manga. Yeah, somehow they're getting through the kids. Somehow manga is, but the mainstream stuff isn't. And a lot of people say it's the subject matter. I don't know. I don't know if it is the subject matter or if it's just like kids think it's cooler because it's different, it's new. I'm not sure. My kids do because of me, but my youngest doesn't even want than because he is stuck on video games and anime. Yeah. My daughter Amanda, she liked the manga. She kind of went through, maybe a year or so of like in manga. So at the time you could go to like Borders or wherever the hell it was, and they had a manga section, so she could go pick out some books. She liked more of the Vertigo books. This is when she got older, and so she liked that, but she really didn't like the superhero stuff. People keep talking about that the comics industry is sexist. I don't think the comics industry is sexist. I think that there are just things that girls like that guys don't. And if women want to make, comics, or anybody wants to make comics that are more tailored towards little girls, then knock yourself out. That's fine. I mean, the more the merrier. I don't think it should even be an issue or a problem. There's a lot of different people out there, and a lot of people have different tastes. So make some comic books that, appeal to them. That's all. It's not rocket science. Sheldon and Scholastic is killing it with kids comics. Well, Scholastic's selling them right to them. They're going right to the store, or not the store, but the schools. I mean, they're going right to the kids. Like comics, mainstream comics, Marvel and DC, they do not sell to kids. They're not even selling them to kids, is my point. It's not that kids aren't buying them. They're not marketing, and they're not selling to kids. They're selling to people that have been doing comic books for years, or reading comic books for years, older people. And then, like more recently, they're treating the older audience that are supporting what they do like second-class citizens, in lieu of trying to build some kind of new market, which is more like, I guess, like independent, not independent, but I don't know. I don't want to be derogatory and say soy comics, but SJW, more of that type of book. Progressive, ideology, things like that. And the thing is, that's fine as well, if that's the market you want to, sell to. But it doesn't have, like, this industry is really weirdly limited. They become either or, like it has to be this or that. It can be all the above. It doesn't have to be, oh, well, we have to shit on all of our old clientele to get this new clientele. It doesn't have to be that. You don't have to do that. I don't even know why you would. But anyway, they do. And it's really short-sighted. And they're just kind of killing their own fan base. And realistically, they're not building a new fan base. Instead of like more progressive or SJW type of stories, which aren't necessarily bad. If you're into that, that's fine. It's not my thing. In the day, we used to say that's heavy-handed preaching. Like you're preaching to people, and people don't like that. But if you're convinced that that's the way to go, then knock yourself out. For me, it's more of a question that you're not don't go after like progressives or them. Go after kids. That sounds bad, but market towards kids. Get the kids involved. That's comic books, like superhero comics and stuff. They've always appealed to kids or kid-like people, and so that is your market. That is your clientele. So get them in front of kids. Sell to the kids. How do you build an audience over time? Get the kids in. They read it. That's how it always used to be. Get the kids in. They're probably going to read for about 10 years, and then they'll move on to something else. So from ages, I don't know, 6, 7 to 15, that's your market. That's your age group. That's your demographics. And so then you keep it going. That's why also, like, you hear some of the older guys like, I've read that story, or you're just rehashing old things. Well, there's only so many stories to tell. And in the day, you didn't have lifers. You didn't have people that were necessarily reading comic books for 30, 40 years, you know? So to a 30 or 40 year reader, yeah, the stuff becomes old hat. But to a kid, it's brand new. And so that's kind of always been the mindset, is to market towards kids, get the kid audience, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've said it before, you got a character, his name is Spider-Man. Who's that going to appeal to? It's not necessarily going to appeal to an adult, you know. It would appeal to an adult that started reading Spider-Man when he was a kid, but it isn't really going to appeal to an adult that's never read comic books before. Oh, I just realized this little guy doesn't have his detail. So yeah, I think it's more, it's not necessarily a question of like what's in the books as far as subject matter. It's more of just marketing. Like, even if it's more of an adult audience, I mean, market at colleges or places like that. If you want to get more of that 20-something, you know, I thought Vertigo was a pretty good answer to you know, people that may have burnt out on superhero comics. You know, they've been reading since they were a kid, but they still like the medium. They still like, you know, picking up a comic book and reading it. So, you know, you're appealing to those people with different subject matter, and I think it's all good. But what they're doing now, I don't see the merit in it, and so it's very niche, and they're trying to get a different audience in. But by getting a different audience, they're also taking shots at their older audience. And I don't really understand any of that. You know, it just seems counterproductive. And also, why would, you know, I mean, these people supported you. They spent thousands of dollars, you know, supporting and buying your books. Why would you treat them like that? It just, none of it makes any sense to me. Let's get on this thing here. It's over here. Yeah, I think that's why it boggles a lot of people's minds, you know, at Comicsgate and stuff, because they're like, why would you do this? You know, why would, you know, then don't buy my comics, you know, all that kind of posturing and that kind of weirdness. Yeah, well, guess what? They're not buying your fucking comics. Why are you talking like this? Make something that universally people would love. Like, what's wrong with that? But also, isn't that your job? Like, your job isn't really to piss people off. Like, if you truly want to do independent comics and you want to express yourself in a certain fashion, then by all means do it. But don't do it in the mainstream. Don't take like something that people really love and then badmouth people or say this, you know, this isn't for you. Well, yeah, it used to be for me. You know, I've always bought this stuff. I've always read this stuff. What do you mean it's not for me? So Wolverine's not for me anymore? Why? Because you said so? Yeah, I don't, I really don't understand this new paradigm shift, like marketing based on like pissing somebody off. Yeah, insulting the fan base. I don't. I mean, these people act like they're smarter than everybody that's ever existed before them. That's one thing I really find interesting about like younger. I guess there's always been a young arrogance. We've all kind of been there, done that. But like I don't know why a comics like a company would allow people to talk that way about the product that isn't even theirs, like that Rachel Zegler, like why is she talking like that? She's just a cog in the machine. She didn't create the machine. She didn't invest money in the machine. She's just a hired gun. She's just a cog in the machine. And then she acts like she is the be all end all. That movie would be able to be made with or without her. Like Snow White didn't need her prior. Snow White doesn't need her now. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy arrogance. And I don't know where that comes from. Some people say it's entitlement, but it's also an entitlement that the company is allowing. You know what I mean? Like it's not just like, oh, Rachel Zegler decided she was going to talk like this. Disney or whoever are behind it. They're like, oh, okay, go for it. And so do you hate people that much? Do you dislike people? But it's weird because if you do dislike people that much, right, a certain group of people, well, those people still have money. Those people still might like your product. And then I know this is old territory, but I think the reason it's talked about over and over again is because it's so mind-boggling, right? It's so hard to come to terms with like why somebody would do this, especially with something that like comic books and cartoons and video games and things that we love so much. Like why would you do that? And so I think it's kind of like just constantly trying to come to terms with this lunacy. Like, it just kind of boggles any kind of logic. Just play it down the middle. Try to make like I try to write like universal stories, like universal truth, like things that if it's universal, then more people can relate to it. Not left, right, whatever. Like, does that really matter? Not really, but try to find some kind of common thread, something that all people can relate to, like universal, subjects, birth, death, life, dealing with loss, oh, this is too fine. I need my thicker one. My thick. This is, wait a minute. Here we go. They all look the same. Yeah. I mean, people, better speakers than myself have talked this stuff, at great lengths. And it's just, I think the reason it just continues to go and is because it is fairly mind-boggling. You just keep trying to come to terms with something. All right. Well, there you go, Joe. All my crisscross patterns. I wanted to bring some like heaviness to it, but not solid blacks. So I wanted to keep more of a solid black in this area here. And then as you can see, it kind of breaks up in here. You know, it's not quite as solid. So I hope you dig it. Hope you like what's going on. I think, let me see, monitor, all my bottom. All this is done. Let me clean it up a little bit so I can minimize my smudge. My smudge. Drawstreams. One thing for sure, like the drawstreams are, I'm more productive. So I can work and talk. So multitasking is always a benefit. Let's get this clean. All right. Little area here. I'm still like old school where I don't want to ink in or like clean up in this area because I'm thinking, oh man, the ink isn't dry yet. So I'm going to stay away from there just because. All right. There's a trick too if you guys want to see if something's wet, especially marker, and you have the kneaded eraser. Just push the kneaded eraser on and pull it up. And if it pulls up ink, then you know the ink isn't dry. So what this will do is if you move it across, it'll smudge it. But if you push it down and pull up, it doesn't smudge it. So it's kind of like an easy way to test if the ink's dry, if you're unsure. So kind of taught myself that. So I think all my little egg shapes are done. The eggs are done. Man, I made some killer. You have like these taquitos or they're egg tacos. Oh my gosh, I kill making those things. They're so good. So Pamela was at the doctor and she was there for a little longer than she should have had to be. And so I surprised her with some of the taquitos, and they were extra good. They were extra good this morning. Yeah, I've been kind of slowly adding more Tabasco, you know, because I'm not necessarily a hot sauce guy. Is it Cholula? Is that what that one stuff is called? I like that. And I can put that straight on the eggs, but when I cook, I like to put, you know, the Tabasco in. And so I've been kind of putting more and more Tabasco in just to try to test. And I'll tell you, man, especially with scrambled eggs, man, you can put a lot in there and it just really increases the enjoyment. Mickey, what's up? I agree. This is what happens when a society has wealth and massive amounts of entertainment options. Hey, Mickey, thank you again for that artwork. I have it on my wall in the studio. I've been meaning to take a picture and send it to you. Looks beautiful. Wild background. Thank you. Yeah, there's some of the wildest background. People like the Mickey. I see that name. I see your name, and I always think of Danny Mickey. I had the great inker Danny Mickey used to work as an assistant at Hack Shack Studios. So yeah, you guys, click this link. Go check out Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. Whiskers on the screen. Yeah, can't help it. I have this camera so damn close to me. Draw streams are awesome. I am learning a lot, but don't have the blank Inko screen like yesterday. Well, I can do the blank. I could do that. Oh, you want Inko? There he is. There he is. I was doing the Inko when I wasn't working. Really loved hearing your thoughts on that, Art. Great to hear your point of view on the business. Yeah, I've been really lucky. Like one of the things I cherish the most about Extreme Studios is I got to see like the business side of it, the business side of comic books, marketing, selling, dealing with distributors, retailers, all that stuff. So I got to see it from the inside, and it really helped. It helped. Like a lot of the knowledge I have now is because of, you know, the stuff I learned then. Excuse me. And so, you know, like there's been moments where, you know, like when I broke in, I was kind of deep independent, you know, Renegade Press, you know, drug comics like the Freak Brothers, things like that, Jim Valentino, and then kind of came up, you know, through the mainstream, DC and Marvel, and then, you know, had editor friends, so I learned the editorial side of things. You know, a friend of mine became editor-in-chief at Wildstorm, you know, John Peterson. So, you know, there's a lot of different like run-ins with people, different sides of the industry. One thing, I signed my licensing deal. I had a licensing deal with the Animation Factory. It was a Hollywood organization. They were animation, video games, and of course licensing. The guy that ran that, he was the guy that marketed the first Star Wars, and he marketed all of the Sly Stallone stuff early on. He was good friends with Sylvester Stallone, and so yeah, so I got to see the Hollywood Shuffle stuff. You know, how Hollywood, you know, treats comic books, what they think of it, all that stuff. And so it just kind of just very, very lucky to see all these sides. And then, of course, you know, the freelancer side, you know, and then like with Comic right now, yeah, I'm learning a different side. I'm learning like what you guys like. I'm dealing with the actual fan base or customer base where I've never been privy to do that before. So, you know, I do feel like every step of the way after 40 years, I'm still experiencing different things and different aspects and sides of this industry, which is pretty amazing. You know, like I said, I am very blessed to still be here. And I do still feel like I'm on the top of my game. Like, I think if I went back to Marvel or DC, I would be able to not only hold my own against every inker in the business that's working today, but I think I would be able to eclipse them. And I don't think that's just my ego. It could be, but I think the proof is in the pudding. I am a creative juggernaut, you guys. And I still feel like I have a ton to offer this industry if it could stay around long enough, and I stay around long enough, you know, to be able to prove that or to show you guys. So the biggest problem, and it's kind of always been the industry problem for me, is just time. You know, it takes so long to do things, and especially to do them right.
and to innovate too, because innovation is a lot of trial and error. So usually you don't see people that innovate doing monthly comic books. Usually they're guys that do special projects or one-offs and things like that. Like there's Travis Charest, there's Mike Mignola, people like that they're not really on the monthly grind. So I always feel like it's easier to innovate when you don't have that monthly grind. And I still feel that way. Like this stuff takes time, like I wouldn't have been able to really take the chance I took with this at Marvel and DC, like all this stuff here. So I know there are people that ink or can ink in this style, but you don't really see that mainstream. And like, I don't know about style actually. Can ink like this? Because as far as style, there's nobody, at least in CG, that's doing anything like this. So I always want to be, I always want to like push things and see not only what I can do, but what I can do with the medium, and I always say I'm a creative person, not necessarily just a comic book artist. I like to create. Like if I didn't find comic books, I would still have some kind of creative outlet for that creative sense, whether it was music or building something or whatever. I think all the T-Bears have that. My brother's an architect. My dad drew. Also, he built things as well. So I do think that my brother and I kind of followed in his footsteps. Different sides of my dad's personality and his creative self. I think my dad would have been an artist or wanted to be, but he just came up at a different time. When he married my mom, she already had 2 kids, so there wasn't a lot of time for my dad to, practice, hone a craft, things like that. So he needed to make a living. And also he came out of that depressionary time. And so if somebody offered you a job, you took it and you made the best of it. And so he pretty much stayed working for the government his whole life. Like he had miscellaneous jobs when he was younger, but once he got that job and settled down with a family, he stayed there until he retired. So so there's that. So I know sometimes when you talk this way, people, you're egomaniac, but the thing is, it's not just me saying it. It's like it's factual. It's I've done a lot in this business. I've done a lot of work, and I've been at the top of my game for my whole career. I have inked some and worked on some crappy books in the past, but they're always just moments. And once I started working in the business, I never went a day without work. That's not hyperbole. That's truth. So I don't think you, if you're not good at what you do and in demand, you can make that claim. And through a lot of the career, I've done multiple books. I know a lot of other people, my competition, thought that was unfair. Like, I can't even get a book or whatever, and you got like 2 or 3. It's like, well, I guess some of it is luck. But a lot of it is drive, ambition, always pushing myself to get better. I also never wanted to subscribe to one way of doing things. Like, I never wanted one particular style to define my career. So I always tried different things throughout my career, because if you look through my career, there's all kinds of different moments. Like, I didn't always work in the same way throughout it. So always kind of switching it up, trying to stay interesting, also try to stay contemporary, with trends, things that are happening. And I still do. There's a couple new guys or younger guys that I like. By saying younger, they're probably not that young. I really like Carrie Nord's work. I like oh my gosh, what is his name? Sean Gordon Murphy. Yeah, I like his work. There's a lot of people I really like. I like the stuff that even Dan Panosian is doing. He's kind of treated me poorly in the past, but I got to call a spade a spade. His work's looking pretty darn inspired. Look at that, you guys. I just inked a circle freehand. Look at that. Look at that. Now I'm going to mess it all up. There's one thing, I'll show you a little trick. See the circle? See how it's thinner up on top? I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Let me get it in the camera a little bit better here. It's thinner on top, and then as it comes down here and here, everything's left to right. Everything's reversed, I should say. It gets thicker. So what it does is it creates this nice illusion of weight. So always think of those tricks, like I said, like thinner on top, thicker on the bottom. And so when you do that, you create this weight. Even though this is just like a transparent object, it has weight to it. So I think I'm done. I screwed this up right here. I don't think I saw it right, so I'm going to have to fix that. This piece right here steps in too far. I redrew this leg. That's why there's a little bit of, it's not finished and stuff. So I changed it from the original layout. So let's see, what do we got? I got the foot. You got to pencil that in. The face, I could do the mouth, but the eye, I had a little problem with that. So let me do this mouth here. So I got the thinnest pin here. I don't like pins that are too thin because you can kind of I don't know how to just explain it. They kind of shake a little bit more. Like if you have something thicker, you can kind of just put it down. But with these, they kind of they don't put down as solid of a line. So you got to kind of be careful. All right, put a little weight under her lip there. We got this little mark there. Let's get this little piece there. Inside of the mouth. All right. It's probably a couple little things I missed. I'll go over that later. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me show it off again. Maybe let me pull back camera. Yeah, let's see if this works better. There we go. So there's the top of it. So there you go. Let me see what you guys are saying. Camera. See what it would be like. Is that as far as it'll go? So there it is. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Get my glasses on. Yeah, my cat. Yeah, they love those things. Crazy Cat, I heard about Scholastic selling large numbers, but I didn't look into it. I only know about the manga because I see younger people and kids always in the manga section. Indeed. Also in Japan, an anime is embedded into our everyday society, so it's part of our everyday life. Yeah, comic books used to be that way. It's the American art form, right? So like I said, when I grew up, there were comic books in
all my friends, bedrooms and stuff like that, there was always there was always comic books. So most kids my age had comic books. They were just kind of part of growing up. Comics used to be part of everyday life. Yeah, in US and Europe too. Yeah, they weren't necessarily like hardcores like us, but they read comic books. My cousins always had like a small stack. My neighbor had a small stack, but they were never like me, where I went every week. Also, where I bought my comic books was a liquor store, and they didn't really update the comic books. They kind of had the spinner rack, but they would kind of sell until they sold out. So we didn't get new books a lot. So quite often you would end up buying everything on the rack, waiting for new books because you just wanted to read a comic book. So, you find yourself buying all the Archie and Little Lulu and, Hot Stuff and, even like Supergirl books that you probably wouldn't get, Lois Lane, if you had, a variety to choose from. So I got all that stuff just because, I didn't have access to anything else. We see Joe says, back when I collected the lame stream comics, some comic shops wouldn't let you order unless you bought the catalog. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. Yeah, it's like I said, it kind of borderlines predatory business practices, and we're talking about Diamond Comics. Blue Boy Comics says, now we know Trump committed many illegal crimes in order to overthrow the 2020 election. It's time for MAGA to disavow the convicted sex predator. Remember, you voted for terrorists from China printers. I have no idea what you're talking about. Let's see. Pedro says manga is not new. It's been around for quite a while. Yeah. It's time the subject matter of manga. It's not the subject matter of manga. It's the formatting, marketing, and the easy entry point for new readers. American comics, superhero comics, have no easy entry points for new readers. Yeah, that, and they don't really market it and sell it, All manga series have accessibility and easy entry points for new readers. You start with volume 1. Yes, 1 is number 1. US Comics number 1 is number whatever, LOL. Yeah. And they keep renumbering stuff. Yeah. Say, Soy Comics, no sodium, no sugar, no substance. Also, let's not forget, they're just not marketed either. They're just not marketed. Kids have no access to them. The comic books, I have a theory. The comic books will change when the readership changes, right? So if younger people start buying comic books, by droves, then all of a sudden the subject matter would change. It'd be more kid-like, or for the kids. Comics were used as tools to get kids to read. Today, they can do that online with digital content. I think it's why kids don't look for comics as much as us. We grew up with them. I didn't have to look for comics. They were everywhere. When I went out to the store with my mom, there was a small spinner rack. There was a liquor store by the house, a spinner rack. There was a Thrifty spinner rack. 7-Eleven, there was a rack. They were everywhere. Well, if we had a cultural art committee and we had government behind comic books, maybe they would sell better. Let me see. Yeah, because Japanese cares about art. America has right-wing Trumper losers needlessly trying to control libraries to limit free speech and expression. I don't think necessarily right-wing Trumpers are trying to silence people. I think it's just government as a whole. You actually think the problem is the right wing? Okay, America does not, or is defined. Wait a minute. Art, or all right wing America does is define art programs delusional to say otherwise. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Trump's bad. Tariffs are bad. All right. AV 8R Search says, for us, superhero genre is mostly found in comics, so we flock to them. Kids today are inundated with superhero genre and realistic special effects, so they don't need to seek it. In comics. Past Master, what is up? Mickey's got a friend. You got a friend in Past Master Dan. Crazy Cat says, I appreciate being able to hear you, Art, expound on these subjects on your own, at your own pace, without interruptions. Great hearing your unique insight, Art. All right. Well, I'm going to start wrapping this bad boy. Let's see what Joe Bernard says. Because the lame stream, comics are being run by people who don't know comics. They are just SJWs. Look what they did to Robin and Super Sons. Yeah, Superman's son. Yeah. The X-Men, their new supreme power mutant with pink hair. We got Angela Curry. What's up? Hey, Art. Hail, chat. You got a friend in me. Yeah, click this link, you guys. Go back, Sins of the Father. Do it now. I'll wait. Rachel Brinkley, what is up? Great art piece. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it. Let's see. Why would the evil queen be jealous of Squareface Rachel Zegler? She is also insulting the movie that built the company she was working for. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. Yeah, I say that to my wife all the time. We talk about this stuff, and I think life has finally come to this. Okay, so we all know about the craziness with the government, with just about everything, right? So we know this stuff, right? We talk it to death. There's all kinds of great YouTubers, smart people that are showing stuff and letting us know what's going on. But now I think we're at this crossroads where we have to now take action. Like it's no longer good enough that you know it. Right? Oh, well, Joe Biden is this. Oh, well, there's this global, cabal. There's XYZ happening. We understand that. We kind of know this stuff. But what are you willing to do about it? Right? We know Gavin Newsom is bad for California. What is California willing to do? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's where we're at now. It's like, you have to make a stand. You have to say something. You have to do something. Otherwise, like, words are words. They don't mean anything. So I think a lot of people know this stuff. They just, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you take power back from a powerful entity? How do you do these things? I would like to see some of these YouTubers talk about that. I know that what's the name? Russell Brand kind of talks about that every once in a while. Like kind of take the power back and how to go about doing it. I think we need more of that. We got Andy Smith. We missed you on the Bros last night. Yeah. Hope you guys had a good show. Hail! A lot of Andy Smith fans out there. People digging the Smith. The foot is unfinished. I know. I already covered that. "12 hours to ink that piece." Yeah, with all the live streaming, it wouldn't have taken me that long if I wasn't live streaming it. Let's see. Mickey says, "RT Bear, do you always pencil or do you ever just start with ink?" I always pencil. I have to. I know there's a lot of people that disagree with certain things, but I remember I got, oh man, I still can't believe this. I got to have a conversation with Frank Frazetta, and he was talking, and he said, always ink loose, pencil tight. So pencil it tight and then ink it loose. The meaning behind that is like, I think what he's trying to say is if you pencil tight, it's all worked out, like all the details there. And so then when you ink it, you don't have to think about the details. You don't have to think about finishing it. You don't have to think really too much at all, because I've said it before, inking is more of a performance. Penciling is thinking. Writing is thinking. So it's trial and error. You try this, you erase it. You write this phrase, then you rewrite it. So all that stuff is a process. Penciling, writing. Inking is a performance. Inking is you throw that line down, that's it. That's the line. That's the performance. Like you're on stage. You're a singer. Your voice cracks. That's part of the performance for that night. That's there. That exists. So that's how I look at inking. Inking is a performance. So as far as the way I look at it is pencil tight. I mean, look at this. I'll show it again. This is fairly tight. So these are the pencils. So you pencil tight, and then you can ink loose. And you saw how I kind of brought some of that stuff together yesterday on the drawstring. And so I didn't really have to think too much about it. I just kind of went over the lines because it was all pretty much worked out. And when I'm penciling this stuff, I know that there's stuff that I didn't really like in the pencils, and I know that I'll probably change it or correct it when I ink it. So I had that stuff chambered. So if you look at the pencils and you looked at the inks back to back or side by side, you would see there are like subtle little changes that I made with the inks. So I do always try to think of like inking as a performance. It's kind of a stream of consciousness, because if you think too much about it, you won't be able to move and flow. It'll be more stilted. It'll be more like sketchy. It won't flow. So for me, it's like just move the hand, just move it along, get that flow going. And also the thing is, if you get hung up on making a mistake while you're inking, you probably will make a mistake. So there's a lot of thought. Like you really have to like just go, be confident, be confident when you're putting that line down, because the ink line is permanent, but you can't think about it. You can't dwell on it. So it's a little esoteric in that way, that you gotta be able to just not be too uptight about it. You got to throw the line down. and just be expressive as much as you can. Also, as much as you can within the style you're working. So that's kind of it. So yeah, these are pretty tight. I did like even line weights, with the foreground stuff and the background stuff. So this is really thought out. So this is a pretty tight pencil job. I don't always pencil that tightly, but like I said earlier, I had this new pencil, this lead, and it felt good, so I just kind of kept going with it. Oh, cool. So they have the fires out in California? Oh, you're asking a question. Have the fire stopped? Last I heard, they're not. They're still burning. Two wild and crazy backgrounds. Yeah, people are power lines. There's a lot of factors that enter into these things. I lived in the hills in California, and we had an extra season. It was called fire season, and so dry brush winds, some idiot doing something that they shouldn't, somebody not maintaining power lines, just things like that. Let me see. I'm going to try to catch up and sign out. Chrono Mechanics, that's a blast from the past. I think that was my second crowdfunding backing. Oh, awesome. We're going to do a yard sale in a couple months, either like a garage sale, yard sale. And so there's a lot of things I have in the T-Bear vault that I'm going to make available. So we got trading cards, we got comic books, like Chrono, black and white, all kinds of different like stretch goal items, patches, pins, things like that we're going to make available. And so some of the tiers might be limited. Like if we only have 100 Chrono books, it'll be limited to 100 or whatever it is. So I was thinking it would be a way to get Chrono back out there and get those books in your hands, because the problem is I have some Chrono books overprinted, but I can't really make them a campaign unto themselves because there's not enough books. Just not enough books. So yeah, I got to finish this, and then I'm going to rework the eye, and then I'll ink that in. And then there's a couple little renderings that I'd like to add to it, but it's pretty much there. Pretty much done. So I think it came out pretty cool. A lot of fun hanging with you guys. Got this piece inked in 2 days, but I also got to hang out with you guys, so that's good. Let's see. Wow, that sucks, man. I don't back Marvel or DC Comics just because many of those artists hate me for being CG. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We got Plan 9. Greetings. Greetings, Earthling. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I got a chance. Ryan Otley asked if I wanted to ink the last issue of, oh my gosh, what is his superhero book that he did with Bendis? I don't remember it. Howard or something. I can't remember what it was. But man, I really wanted to do that. I just didn't have time to do it because I really like that guy's style. Yeah, he's good. I really wish he wouldn't have turned against me, because I would like to still think of him as a friend, but I can't control the thoughts and actions of people. I just can't do it. Dang, that Kit Carter is better than what Aaron can do. I don't know about that. Let's see. Otley did a Hulk run. Yeah, recently too. The art was good, but story was meh. Donny Cates was the writer. Not his best story, but it was fun. Sweet. Very curvy. Very curvy. Let's see. AV8R Surge says, Mickey, I'm expanding to some Kickstarter campaigns. Get something by Silvestri. Yeah. Let's see. Crazy Cat says Aaron should definitely use this as a cover. I'll send it to him. I'll make it available if he wants to use it for something. The way I look at it is I owe Aaron a cover anyway. He did a cover. He did the Zen character from Chrono Mechanics as a variant, and it looked really, really cool. Joe Bernardo art. Bob Layton always told me most metal or what's that? Mechanisms, mechanical things should be inked with straight edge or curve. Everything that is organic should be freehand. Any thoughts? Because they are man-made. I agree with him for the most part, but just because something is metallic or mechanical, it doesn't necessarily need to be sterile. So you can still bring the funk. You can still bring movement to a ruler or a French curve. So always keep that in mind. So it could be mechanical, but it still has to kind of have movement and attitude. So I do agree. And for most people, that works. I don't really, I'll use a straight edge like you saw me with the barrel of this gun, but everything else was freehand, because straight lines, especially something small like this, are really, really hard to get right. So I won't freehand those things, but like her harness, the legs here, all this stuff, this is all freehand. Even you guys saw me ink the dome here. It's all freehand. So like for me, I'd say as a basic rule, he's right. But for me, I kind of like just freehanding it. I think the freehand has a little bit more, it has more organic look to it. It becomes less sterile. And it's just kind of where my head's at right now. So sometimes there's certain things, certain rules that I used or made up for the way I would ink, or certain people too, because not everybody should be inked exactly the same way. So hope that answered that. Dan DeCarlo, Archie Comics. Wow, I have missed quite a bit. Man, it's all good, Blue Boy. I know, guys, I hate Trump, but I still back many creators in CG. Excuse my my pilot AI rants. I get carried away sometimes. I'm genuinely a fan of you, Art. No problem, man. I mean, it's all good. I mean, to each his own, right? If you don't like somebody, that's fine. Spambot says, great show, gotta go. Comics and Heavy Metal magazine used to be at 7-Eleven. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. When I was a kid, Kanto Harris says, "Stop drinking," then type. Okay, Art of Roy. I haven't given you the platform yet. Let's see. Only government can censor business. Have requirements. You can either hoe with it or not. I think it's go with it. Blue Boy should rename to Bluebells. I don't know. There's no reason for that. Crazy Cat says kids were interested in superhero comics when the MCU blew up, but comics that were in shop sucked. Yeah, I don't know. I thought as soon as the spinner racks and the mainstream access to comics went away, I do remember talking to people and having the thought, like, it's kind of the beginning of the end, you know? Andy Go Comics, they will do nothing. They already tried once. Not sure what that is. I'm just kind of zinging along here. Well, yeah, it's not going to change overnight. Rachel says, speaking of Newscomb, I can't believe how many on X that still support him. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. There's a reason he's in power still. Hey, Artie, I stole Gary's youth. What's up? If Aaron doesn't jump on this and get it colored to use it as a cover, then he's a grade A sucker. Jimmy Owens, yeah, Art, can't wait for Chrono 2 as your head fanboy of the comic. Oh, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I miss those guys. Oh, no. Joe Bonaro says, wish me luck, Art. I'm going to California to go to Disney tonight and will be at Disneyland tomorrow and California. Is it California Adventure Friday? Well, let's just have fun, man. Just have fun. Don't get any of their like upgraded ticket shit and all that other crap. Just go have a good time. Just open up an eBay store like Ethan to sell Chrono Mechanics books. I have been thinking about that. I don't know if I have enough of a base. Invincibles, that's the book that I was asked to ink. Ryan Otley's book. Yeah, guys, in the meantime, go check out the Chrono website. Oh my gosh. I have really not been keeping track of you guys. I apologize. Yeah, Gavin Newsom is Nancy Pelosi's nephew. And they're both like cut out of the same mold for sure. Apex says, Art, I like the Mobius art style to the space chick. Yeah, this is Kit Carter. And yeah, I'm glad of that. I wanted to kind of go with the Mobius style for some of the landscape. And for the most part, it's a little bit of a hybrid of what I'm doing with black and white and Mobius. I almost knocked my water over. So here's one last scan of this. I'll be finishing this up soon, you guys, and then I'll post it on all my social media, and you guys can see it in. You can see it better. So there you go. Kit Carter, Aaron Lopresti's Space Chick commission. just about finished. And like I said, I'll be posting that very, very soon to all my social media. Let me do one. I want to let you guys know, if you like what I do, then if you could please come over, support Black and White. These books help keep the lights on, help me be able to do what I do, make comic books for you guys, entertain you, hopefully entertain you on YouTube. So yeah, you guys, we got all kinds of cool different tiers and books. We got four covers for this book. We got some killer interiors. And for more interiors, you guys, make sure you check out the updates, because there's a couple things on there that aren't on the main page. And then we got the Black and White High Octane. Hold on, I'm not sure that I showed this. I'm gonna make sure that I show this. Let me see. So this is Pedro's stuff. So this is an interior page from the High Octane Adventures. Pedro just turned these in a couple days ago, and they look absolutely fantastic. So good. He's a genius. So this is what you can expect with the interiors. It's an all-age 22-page one-and-done book. So everybody can get a little bit of something out of it. And it's all just good, clean fun. So that is High Octane 2, you guys. And Pedro is penciling, inking, and doing the color work. And he's doing the lion's share of the writing, just based on us doing a powwow, coming up with a story idea. So a little bit of me, but mostly Pedro. Here's some more interiors of High Octane 2. Here are those four covers I was talking about. We got the main cover. We got the B cover, which is outselling everything. We got the Carlo Barberi cover. And then we have the John Malin cover here, which is absolutely fantastic. I like his take on Juju in the background there. She looks way more evil than I draw her. So very, very cool. So here's a better look at the B cover. We got Lord Faken, the immortal Lord Faken, and we got Juju there. And here is the Carlo Barberi cover with my inks. And then, of course, the great John Malin. Sins of the Father, you guys. Back it today. All kinds of cool tiers. We got two cool books. There's 2 cool books in this. We also have, there's like 5 books in this campaign. So we have, let me go over the tiers. We have the High Octane 2. We have the main book, which is volume 3. We have 3 other variants, but we also have High Octane 1. So you can get that as a combo with High Octane 2. So that is 3 books right there. And then also we have the Black and White volumes 1 and 2 and 3. So you can get the first volume, the second volume, along with volume 3. And then, of course, if you back the Jam tier, you get all everything that's with this campaign, with the exception of the John Malin cover. But you can get that as an add-on. And then we have interior pages, you guys. We have an interior page here. It's $5.50. I know it's a little high, but these are a little less than I usually let these go for. I do understand things are a little tight. Same with these cover prices. So if you like original artwork, then there's some black and white stuff here that you can back. So there is that. And let me see. I want to let you know I got another campaign going as well. And there have been some links in the description. I do appreciate that. So this is Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. I can't believe it. I got 2 books going simultaneously. This is a miracle.
Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist, Art T-Bear. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image, and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs, and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. Art T-Bear's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of Art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually or together as a bundle. Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now on Indiegogo.
Yeah, you guys get in there. Not sure how much longer Oodles is going to stay up. Is in demand right now. We're at 16,115. We have 134 backers. There's always room for more, you guys. So this is a beautiful hardbound book, and it's done. So if you order today, it will go out tomorrow. So Pamela's really good at getting these things out to you guys. So back now, get it. The order will go out tomorrow, and it'll take as long as the shipping takes. So a few days, a week, depends. So yeah, you guys, there's a lot of cool pages, interior pages. We got the Kevin Nolan quote. That's the back cover. Interiors that you saw with the video. And then we have the signed and numbered prints. Well, they're not signed. They're signed, but they're not numbered. The book is numbered though. So this is what my sloppy brush style looks like. So all the gray tones are ink wash. So then we have a different Juju print for this campaign. This is the 30th anniversary, and it has the Juju name on it. The one with the black and white campaign is full bleed, so the image is bigger. And so then we have set A. These are the mini prints. So you'll get that with the signed and numbered book as well, and the prints come signed. We got the B tier, and most of this stuff, these prints, are brush and wash. So like this Wonder Woman is brush and wash. This Harley Quinn, this Mary Jane is brush and ink wash. So this Voodoo is more traditional, just my normal, Croquill. So then also the head sketch tier is still open. So if you guys want me to draw, I can draw in the book for you guys. Commission tier is closed and closed. So you guys, whoa. I did this. I was thinking, wow, it's a little close. Hold on. Look at that. Looks artsy. Yeah. Let me pull this camera back a little bit, or a lot. It's taking its sweet ass time going back. There you go. All right. Well, it looks artsy. Yeah, this is it. Let me put this hat on better. All right. It's a new angle. It's a new angle. And yeah, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. And I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work on this live streaming draw streams and see if I can perfect it, get it better. Look into getting some equipment. I think for not knowing what I'm doing, the last 2 draw streams have been pretty successful. You guys have been great. Please thumbs up the video and share on your social media. We got like 430 views yesterday. That's pretty good for me. So let's see if we can keep that up. And if we can keep that up, I'll keep doing this for you guys. I'll keep, drawing on the live streams and all that other good stuff. Let me see. Oh my gosh, you guys have been, I'm never going to get out of here. Let's see. Joe says, Art, what's that in the alcove on the left? This is my left. Over here? Well, over here, that is, it's a light that helps. So that's why it's there. But behind it is a Nightmare Before Christmas music box. I think I got it for Christmas one year. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then this other thing, that's a temporary kind of setup there. The tripod is one of Amanda's painting tripods, but Amanda got that for me for Christmas or for my birthday, and it's an original souvenir guide from Disneyland. I am a Disney fan, you guys. So it's like Walt on the cover. He's signing autographs and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. I just got to get a better way to display it. And of course, there's a TV. There's a tiki right there. I got all my media. My books are here and over here. And then, of course, I got my books in here too. I have another bookshelf. Well, it's not a bookshelf. Let me see if I can swing this around. So I have books in there. So you guys can see I got the Disneyland map from '76. So that's kind of the studio. Maybe I could do, hold on, maybe I can do a whole turnaround here. So there's that wall. This is where you guys usually see, or used to. There's the staircase right there. So I have another computer set up. And there's Doug as a chrono mechanic. And then let's see, I'm kind of coming back. Will the cord allow it? No, it won't. I have to go back the same way I came. So that's the old computer right there. So yeah, let's bring it back. I'm trying not to go too fast because I don't want to give you guys vertigo. Boom, 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 boom. So here we are. I'm back for the attack. So yeah, you guys, let me see if there's anything good. Art share, yeah. I did. I usually close the door. Doug, yeah, showed off some Doug. The bat shelf, yeah. Sound bar is at over the TV. Yeah, I got pretty good sound. I got my speakers. They're like portable, so they're like magnetized, and so that the sound bar is over there, but I can detach the speakers, and I got little mounts over here and here, and I can put them on that, and I can get like surround sound, which is pretty damn cool. It'll just shake the house. MTV Cribs. Yeah, I don't really have a desk anymore. I got rid of my drawing board. I didn't get rid of it. It's in the other room. But now I just kind of, this is like my workspace right here. So then I have my lap board, which is down below it right there. So then I got my microphone, got my pins, got my drumstick, got my Inkwell Award, my mouse, and then me. All right, you guys. So maybe it'd be good if I held it up. Ooh, there you go. So this is the ink job I just finished. Thank you guys so much for hanging. I do appreciate it. You guys are the best. And I'll see you soon. I'll try to figure out something else to do on a live stream, to draw or ink on a live stream. The thing about like black and white is some of the stuff I don't want to give away. Like I don't want to give away story. So there might be Post-its over some of the panels, and there might be some dry spells. because I think I'm done with my commissions. So Blue Boy says, appreciate the inking techniques and tips. Always, always. Hell Comicsgate, I do appreciate it. Thank you, Frankie. Nice. That'll be fun. Yeah, Joe's going to go to Disneyland tomorrow. Take a bunch of pictures, man, and have fun with your wife and kids. All right. Well, I'm going to end this sucker. So you guys have a fantastic day. Pontificators tonight, you guys, 8 Eastern time. Come by. We are going to talk about all the shenanigans with Diamond filing Chapter 11. Chapter 11 isn't necessarily the end of the world, but it could be the start. So we're gonna get into that. So you guys take care. See you later tonight. Boom.